basing on your past experience or your any other knowledge? What is a data warehousing solution? Charlie, how about you?
Yes, data warehouse is where we can save the transactional data
Mm-hmm.
and the master data for as a, for for the reporting
Mm-hmm.
purpose,
Okay.
analysis and reporting purpose.
Okay, yeah, correct. Okay, so at a very high level, internally my data is segregated like transaction data, mass data, but high level is data, right? So fine. So a data warehousing is an environment which is optimized for reporting. Simple. Okay, so for example,
Mhm.
Walmart is there. Okay, every day some thousands of customers would be visiting the Walmart. Okay, and doing some or other transactions. So Walmart has their own systems to store their respective data, right? So they would be storing data. That's well and good. Now I am the regional manager of North America. Okay, now I want to understand. Hey, I have around 40 branches in North America of Walmart. Now I want to see like what is the profit share of each and every branch, and therein I want to leverage my branches, or I want to see where the revenue is very less, where the profit percent is very less. I want to ensure that what is exactly causing the problem, therein I want to take some action. Okay, this is one of the requirement. And um, at the same time I want to see the customer wise customer count wise branch also, so that I can analyze in which branch I have the maximum customers, in which branch what would be the lowest customers, so that I can analyze, hey, in this branch there are very low numbers on day-to-day basis. Okay, why? Is it due to the any particular season, or due to some less population over there, or something like that? So what I can do, I can more if the population is good, everything is good, and for example our competitor is doing a very good job, then not we, then they can take a decision like okay, advertising our products more, and giving some offers, and if they enroll for a new customer, give them some 10% discount, something like that. We will attract the customers and ensure that our business is going to run. Okay, so like this the manage, and for example we are done with 2017, right? Now they want to analyze whatever our balance sheets for 2017, what is the revenue percentage, profit percentage we got, what is the loss percentage we have, what are our actual future plans. Like this the management would be having hundreds of questions in their mind regarding their business. Okay, now these data warehousing tools will make their life more comfortable. More or less these are like automatic tools which will consolidate the data from the different systems and show in a single report. That is where this click view, tab view, business objects tools, all are easy to use interface tools. Just install them, connect to your respective systems, and represent your data in various formats, in terms of reports, in terms of graphics, in terms of analysis, whatever you wish. Okay, so that is the reason people having analytics or data warehousing background would be what is called in terms of job opportunities, in terms of pay scale, in terms of opportunities across the world. There are some good opportunities comparatively to other technologies. And more or less these are GUI tools, right? Graphical user interface tools, so easy to learn also, not unlike ABAP or Java, where we have a lot of coding involved and something like that, right? Nothing like that over here. Very simple to use interfaces. Okay. Now, so that is the whole intention of a data warehousing solution. So, if you want to showcase how a simple data warehousing system will look like, let's before going to the definitions, let's see the data warehousing definition. Okay. And whenever you refer to any data warehousing architecture, it should be a bottom-up approach. Okay. So in the bottom, we have something called as the source systems, which are primary systems where we are going to store our day-to-day transaction data. Like all the banks would be storing the data, right? Walmart would be storing their data, airlines would be storing their data in some other places, right? So those systems are called as source systems, or OLTP systems, online transaction processing systems, or transactional data systems, or operational data systems, or external data systems. So these are the few systems where you would be storing where the organizations, okay, would be storing the day-to-day transaction data. Now on top of this data I want reporting, right? So this middle layer is called as a data warehousing layer. So what I would be doing, I would be connecting this data warehousing solution to my source systems. With that the connection would be established, right? Later I would be starting creating the structures and reading the data from them, and this entire process is called as ETL process: extraction, transformation, and loading. So in simple, somebody asks you what is an ETL tool, the process of connecting to various source systems, reading and writing the data into the target system, nothing but data warehousing solution, is called as an ETL process. Extraction means extracting, connecting to the different source systems, creating the structures, transforming the data according to your reporting requirements, and finally loading into the data warehousing layer. Okay, now once my data is available in the data warehousing layer, I can connect any reporting tool to this system and showcase data in the form of a report output. Okay, so that is where data warehousing means it's not a single one. Data warehouse is a combination of both ETL activities plus reporting activities. So there are some tools available in the market which can perform only ETL. Okay, so let me open a notepad and explain you further. So when you come across any word like data warehousing, okay, so let me make the change format. Data warehousing means it's a combination of ETL tools, nothing but extraction, transformation, and loading, okay, and a combination of reporting. So there are lots of tools available in the market which can do only ETL. So Informatica, SAP BODS, Business Objects Data Services, then followed by data stage, kettle. So this can do only ETL. What does that I mean? Reading the data from these systems and writing into this middle layer. That's it. Okay. Now there are some set of tools which can perform reporting only. Okay. So SAP BobJ tools, business objects tools. Okay. ClickView, Tableau, then followed by what else? Cognos. Um, any idea, guys? Any other reporting tools with your knowledge?
Lumira.
Lumira is
Lumira.
part of the Bobjet tool only. This complete set.
Ah,
Okay.
mhm.
Yeah. So there are a few other tools, but I'm not able to recollect them. Anyway, so these are the few examples of reporting tools. Okay. Now we have some tools which can perform both ETL and reporting activities. They can do both the activities. Okay, and my SAP BW is one among them, business warehouse. Okay, SAP native HANA. Okay, OBIEE, Oracle Business Intelligence Enterprise Edition, MSBI, Microsoft Business Intelligence. Okay, like this the entire data warehousing is broadly divided into ETL reporting, and ETL plus reporting. Okay, so which means when you are learning ETL and reporting tool called SAP BW, you are learning the report, you are learning the ETL concepts, and you are learning the reporting concepts also. Okay, and the beauty of these reporting tools is more or less they follow the same kind of architecture, same terminology or something like that. Okay, The only thing is the environment would be changing. For example, there are three different cars from three different manufacturers. One car from Volkswagen, one car from Ford, one car from, for example, Suzuki. Okay. Now, if you know how to drive a Ford car, how much time it will take for you to drive a Volkswagen car? When you are very new to driving a car, that learning Ford car will take some time for you to understand all the basics, what is what and other stuff. When you have one foundation of driving one car, then driving another car might be taking some time, but not like learning Ford car, right? Learning second car isn't very easy. The only thing is, because the car is from a different manufacturer called Volkswagen, might be some things here and there, but 90% the what is called the gear pattern, or the steering, the lights, everything will remain one and the same, right? So that the same, and after that you want to learn the third car from Suzuki, you can happily, might be one within one day, you can learn the stuff. Okay. Why? Because already you have the past experience with working with the or driving with other two cars, right? So the same logic we can apply for data warehousing also. If you are able to learn any one of this technology, whatever it may be, okay, preferably SAP one, for example, then tomorrow when you got to work with any other technology, it's not a big deal. For example, people learning in HANA, if they want to learn BW, you can always cross compare and have a knowledge about it. Okay, so for example, I was a BW consultant around 3 years or 4 years back. Okay, now in one of my project requirement, they have introduced a click view reporting tool. Okay, so they had given exactly one day of training to us, exactly one day, and that too given introduction about the tool, how to interact with the tool, how to open, close, and connect with the BW and other stuff. That's it. Second day onwards, they started giving the requirements and we started creating the development. That's it. Might be not that speed comparatively, but we were able to understand, because more or less the terminology, the access to the source system, everything was same. So we were able to acquire the knowledge, and within 1 week of time, at least we got to understand the basics of the click view. And within 1 month of time, we were able to create some couple of reports and give it to move to the production system. So like that, how come? Because we are having that strong foundation of the ETL concepts and other stuff. So whatever we are going to learn today and tomorrow, that is the same thing. It is not only specific to SAP BW or SAP HANA. It would be for all of the data warehousing solutions available in the market. From day 3 onwards, whatever we learn, it would be specific to SAP BW. Okay. So
Mm.
this is what a small intro about data warehousing, and the basic terminology like ETL reporting and ETL plus reporting. So when we, in BW, we are going to learn the ETL as well as the reporting concepts. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah. Now go back to our PPT. Okay. So so now you got an understanding it. What's data warehousing? It's nothing but a combination of ETL plus reporting tools. So ETL means I am able to connect it to multiple heterogeneous source systems. I'm using a word called multiple heterogeneous source systems, which means in our organization, it's not that we would be using a single system for our storing our data. Okay, for example, we have a manufacturing company. Okay, Dr. Reddy's, for example. Okay, now these guys are manufacturing the medicines, right? So for their finance data, they might be using Oracle apps. For their manufacturing and other stuff, they might be using SAP ERP. For their HR, they might be using PeopleSoft. For their other warehouse information, they might be using some other software. So in simple, organizations will not be using a single system to store their data. They might be using multiple systems. So your data warehousing solution should have the capacity to connect to these multiple heterogeneous source systems, read the data, consolidate and show in a single report. That is the reason I was telling a data warehouse is an environment, or in the ETL, we are going to connect with multiple heterogeneous source systems. from these different vendors. Oracle apps is from Oracle. SAP ERP is from SAP company. Okay, JD Edwards is from JD Edwards. PeopleSoft is from PeopleSoft. So different companies, different databases, different technologies, right? Irrespective of all of these things, your data warehousing solution or ETL solution should be able to connect to all of these, get the access, read the data, and write into your data warehousing layer. Okay, so we have Bill Inman, who is considered the father of the data warehouse. We have father of internet, father of nation, something like that, right? So like this, Bill Inman is considered the father of the data warehousing solutions. Now, this guy suggested some four principles. He tells that, hey, whenever you are planning to construct a data warehousing system in your organization, please follow my four principles. Okay, so if you follow, then you can leverage more. You can leverage this technology to the most of it. Okay, so we have EF Cod, right, who is the father of the database. This guy suggested some 12 principles for your database, like atomicity, the primary key, the foreign key concepts. So now today when you go and see, every database available in the market would be following the same 12 principles. Similarly, every data warehousing solution available in the market would be following these four minimum principles. Later on top of it, they would be extending it as per their own requirements. Okay. Now, according to this guy, a data warehouse is subject oriented, integrated, non volatile, and time variant collection of data in support of management decision. So, the subject oriented, integrated, non volatile, and time variant are nothing but consists the four pillars of a data warehouse. Okay, on top of which the roof of your data warehouse will stand. So, now we will dig into the details of what exactly this means. Okay, so let's focus on the subject oriented. Give me 1 second. So let me bring some water. Yeah, I'm back. So let's focus on the word called subject or pillar called subject oriented. Okay, subject oriented means in our organization, as I already reiterated, in our organization we would be using different systems to store our day-to-day transaction data, like like JD Edwards or ERPs or databases or whatever it may be. Okay, so your solution, your data warehousing solution should be able to connect to all these different systems from different vendors who would be storing different set of data. Okay, so your system should be designed in such a fashion. Okay, so that's all about the subject oriented. That is the reason if you go with SAP BW or SAP HANA, you can connect not only SAP products, you can connect non-SAP products also, like any other solution available in the market. Okay, that is the primary key for every data warehousing solution. Tomorrow I'm working with the ClickView. ClickView also has the capacity to connect to different source systems we have available in the market. Okay, now integrated. Integrated means since we would be connecting our data warehousing with multiple source systems, right? And those multiple source systems would be storing the data in multiple formats. Okay, so but your data warehousing solution should follow a common format. So that, for example, I have a date. Okay, if I want to write today's date, what I will do? I want to write today's date. So 14/05/2018. Okay, or I can go with the format of 14 May 2018 or 14 May 2018. If in US they will write the month as a first thing. Okay, I don't know about Germany, but in US month as a first thing, followed by date, followed by year. Okay, now we can see internally it is nothing but 14th May 2018, but the formats are different, right? Assume this is how my source system 1 is storing my data, source system 2, source system 3, source system 4. Now tomorrow I want to connect to these all these four systems and read the data and put into my data warehousing, but unfortunately those are storing data in different formats. Internal meaning is one and the same, but there would be storing in different formats, right? So now what I need to do as a BW consultant or a data warehousing consultant, I need to ensure that irrespective of the source system, what is called the structure or the format, I have my own format, right? I need to convert these formats, existing formats, into my BW format, so that tomorrow when I'm doing the reporting from a source system point of view, the dates are in different format, but from a data warehousing point of view, it's a single format. And this is called as integrated. And this is where the ETL concepts will come into picture. Subject oriented means able to connect to work with multiple heterogeneous source systems, right? And ETL, extraction, transformation, loading. Extraction means extracting the data from your multiple source systems. Transformation means transforming the data according to your reporting requirements. And here is also one of my requirement. In my source system, the dates are in different format. Now I need to transform them according to my own format, right? So that is what I am doing over here. So the combination of your subject oriented plus integration is nothing but your ETL concepts. Okay, fine. Now coming to the third point called non-volatile. Okay, actually I need to with respect to the current definition, I need to have something like a non-volatile and a volatile. It all depends on your reporting requirements. So can anybody tell me the English meaning of volatile and non-volatile? Any idea? Volatile and non-volatile. General English meaning. No? Okay, fine.
No.
So volatile means frequently changing data. Okay, non-volatile means not frequently changing. So if something is frequently changing, then that is called as a volatile data, volatile stuff. Okay, so if I just embed into my data warehousing terminology, majority of my reporting I would be expecting it to be non-volatile. The reason is, for example, what will happen? I am the manager of some South Germany, okay, area. Now I need to present a a sales sheet to my entire stakeholders or the business holders. Okay, now I am executing a report in front of them to show the results whatever you have achieved in the last one quarter. Okay, now when I'm presenting a report, I have multiple sessions basically. Okay, in the morning batch I have managers coming, the sales people coming from some city. Okay, and in the afternoon some different city, and in the evening some different cities. So three different cities, three different places the managers will. So I need to give the same presentation three times in a day, for example. Now when I execute a report in the morning, it was showing me some $1 lakh, for example. When I execute the same report in the afternoon, it was showing me some 1,50,000, for example. In the evening, it was showing me $2 lakh. So why the same report is displaying different numbers at different time? Why? Because here in the back end, you are executing the report on top of the same system where the data is getting stored. Okay, so what is happening in the back end? The transactions are happening, right? The customers are coming to the stores and purchasing some or other stuff. When they purchase and the sale is complete, when they click enter, the data is getting saved in the back end database, right? Now when you execute a report at that point of time at 10 o'clock, what is the current sales figure? It is displaying. When you executed the report at 2 o'clock, within 10 to 2, within these 4 hours of time, how many transactions happen, what are the data integrate, what is the data settled. So that would be that latest figure you are seeing in the report. When you executed the same report at 5 o'clock, between 2 and 5, within the 3 hours, what are the sales happen, that amount is now showing in the report. That is the reason, if you do the reporting directly on top of the same system, where you are storing your data, so that which underneath data is changing very frequently, right? So that kind of data is called as a volatile reporting. And if you are expecting that, then you no need to have a data warehousing solution. You can happily do the reporting on top of the same system where you are storing your data. But anybody wants that kind of live data reporting, because somebody wants, but usually why the managers would go with the reporting? Basing on this data, they want to analyze what exactly is happening with our business, and accordingly they want to take the decisions, right? Now when the data is getting changed, they cannot take any decisions, right? So they need some static data, they need some non-volatile data, which means not frequently changing data, so that they can focus on the data and see the trends, what is the trend happening, and accordingly they will propose few solutions, and out of which they'll take the best one and implement it, so that to improve their running business. So it all depends on your reporting requirements. But majority of the cases, the management would be expecting a non-volatile kind of environment for your reporting, so that they have some static data, so that they can start focusing on. For example, I am a sales manager, and underneath me there are some um, 50 sales representatives. Okay, so for every sales representative, I would be giving them a target of some $10,000 business every month. Okay, now 30 days, $10,000 of business they need to bring to us. They need to advertise our product. Okay, and get some clients to us. That is our requirement. Now, what will happen? I want to analyze these guys. So every Monday morning, I will execute a report which will show me the status of what these guys did till last Friday. Okay. So throughout this week, I want to see the same data. So what I need to do? I need to ensure that the data in the data warehousing solution is not refreshed until next Saturday or next Monday, so that whenever this manager executes a report, he would be seeing the same set of data. And this kind of data, I would be calling it as non-volatile data, not frequently changing. It would be changed as per my requirements only. Now when it comes to next Monday, again I will run the job. What the job will do, whatever the thing that has been happened from the last 1 week, it would be updating. Now next Monday my data would be in sync, and throughout that week again the same static data, so that now this guy can start analyzing and see, hey, we're almost in the second week, and he wants to analyze where these guys, how far they are from the target. So people who are very close to target, he will ignore them. Okay, they are very close, and 2 more weeks left, right? So we are good. People who are 50% close to target, that's also okay, 2 more weeks left. But people who have not started yet, or only they are 10 to 20% of their business, then these are the people he would be focusing and asking them, hey, why you guys are not able to make any progress? What is stopping you? Okay, let me know the concern. Accordingly we'll take a decision, or something like that. Are they incapable or something like that? Okay, something like that, the manager would be understanding and taking. So in simple, in this case, this guy wants to refresh the data every 1 week. Okay, now I am one of the manager who would be representing the quarterly results of our organization, the quarterly balance sheet. Now in this case, every quarter I need to refresh my data, not every day, not every month, every quarter, so that during the entire quarter I would be able to see. For example, now we are in quarter 2. Okay, so I don't want to refresh any data. So during the entire quarter 2, I would be seeing only quarter 1 data only. Now at the end of the quarter 2, once I publish my results of the quarter 1, then once I enter the quarter 3, I need to see quarter 1 plus quarter 2 data. Once I enter quarter 4, quarter 1 plus quarter 2 plus quarter 3. Once I am done with the end of the year, all the year data, including all the 4 quarters. So which means in this case, every quarter, if I'm in the second quarter, I need to see the first one. If I'm in third, one and two. If I'm in fourth, one, two, three. So which means every quarter I need to refresh my data, right? So this is a different case. One of my finance credit card department is there. Okay, now they want to find out the default. So whenever we go with any credit card, they would be giving us some 45 days or 60 days of period grace time, right, for doing our payments. Now my manager wants a list of defaulters who have not paid the due amount, even though the what is called their date is crossed, their payment date is crossed. Okay, so assume you are giving them a grace period of 45 days. So now I want to generate a report where the payment date has crossed has been more than 1 week, one bucket. More than 2 weeks, another column. More than 4 weeks, another column. More than 6 weeks, another column. So more than 6 weeks is the severity case, right? So almost 1.5 months we have given another grace period, but still this guy is not responding. Then what we need to do? We need to make a call to this guy or send our representatives to this home to understand what exactly is stopping him for payment. So like this, the manager wants to execute a report, and so in this case, he wants to refresh data every day because he wants to see the latest status. So for example, if we don't refresh every day, yesterday one of my client has already paid the amount. If the data is not refreshed, then he would be still shown as a defaulter. That's wrong, right? So every day morning 8 o'clock, he will execute a report, and according to the severity, he would be severity 1. He would be just making a call. Severity 2, he would be making a call multiple times just as a reminder. Severity 3, he will escalate the stuff. So he would be categorizing, and accordingly he would be submitting the report, right? So in this case, this guy needs to be refreshed at least a minimum of 24 hours. One of my other finance manager is there. So this guy wants to know what happened till now. To time is 10:06. What happened till 10:05? Real time reporting. So for him, the data should be in a volatile format, all this stuff, which means it should be in sync all the time. So that is what is expectation. Okay, so like this, depending upon your reporting requirements, your data will fall into the category of non-volatile or volatile. That is what, if you're doing the reporting on HANA, it is a volatile, because it's a kind of a using SLT, we are going to do the real-time reporting, right? So people who are looking for any kind of real-time reporting, we would be generating reports on top of SAP HANA for them. People who are looking for some kind of non-volatile reporting every 24 hours or something like that, for them we would be using a SAP BW as a reporting tool or an ETL environment. Okay, it all depends. That's the reason no organization will go with a single data warehousing solution. It's a multi-combination. Some people will use, a few organizations will use BobJ tools, SAP BW, SAP HANA, S4 HANA, all this stuff. Some people might be using only BobJ tools, only SAP ERP, something. Depends, varies, basically depending upon the requirements. Okay, so that's all about something called as non-volt and volatile. It all depends on your reporting scenario. Okay, fine. Now, what was the last point? Time variant. So when I am going with something called as a non-volatile, which means I am non-volatile means data is not frequently changing, and that's the reason in BW we would be refreshing our data every 24 hours, right? So when I use a word called every 24 hours, so for example today morning at 6 a.m. my data has been refreshed. Okay, so when I am referring to data in my data warehousing, which means it is been refreshed till 14th May 2018 at 6 a.m. So this is my latest refreshment date. Okay, so when I cross check with my source system and other stuff, I need to make sure that once I feel like yeah, my data is not matching, then you need to always think about like when it was last refreshed. Accordingly, you need to calculate the stuff. Okay, so that the numbers would be perfectly matching. So which means the data in the data warehousing system at any point of time is specific to some point of time, some date and time. 10 14th May 2018, 10 10 o'clock 6 minutes 23 seconds. So this is the date and time that the data was last refreshed. Okay, so you should make into account. So that is what the time variant. Along with that, majority of the management will go with analyzing their data or details with respect to time. Hey, what is my calendar year wise revenue? What is my calendar month wise revenue? What is my quarter wise revenue? What is my week wise revenue? What is my day wise revenue? What are all of these things? These are all calendar features only, right? So your data warehouse should have some built-in function to enable all these properties, and that is called as a time variant. So when you consolidate all of these four principles in your data warehousing definition, that is a complete data warehousing according to Bill Inmon. Okay, and the same principles would be followed by every data warehousing available in the market. Okay, so in simple, a data warehouse is a subject oriented, which means able to connect to multiple heterogeneous source systems. Subject means a particular area of an organization over here. Particular area means a department. A particular department means the whatever the database or whatever the system that you would be using by the system is called as a subject oriented. Integrated, ensure that the data is in a common format, because we would be working with multiple heterogeneous source systems, different formats and other stuff, right? So we will ensure a common format. Non-volatile and volatile means ensure that depending upon your reporting requirement, your data is frequently changing or not much frequently changing. Okay, so here if I take into SAP HANA, it's a completely non-volatile, volatile system, frequently changing. As and when any transaction happening in your source system, automatically it would be reflecting over here. When it comes to non-volatile, BW is a non-volatile. Okay, wherein the data is specific to some point of time. Okay, as of for example, today morning at 6 o'clock I refresh my data, then it is nothing but that is my last refreshment date. Okay, and the time variant. So when you consolidate all of these four principles, that will comprise the definition of your data warehouse. So if whenever you go for any interview or something like that, if somebody asks you what is the data warehousing, then don't go with the plain English definition. Please go with something technical meaning like this, and you should be in a position to explain these in detailed fashion, so that the other person or the interviewer can easily understand and assume that yes, this guy is having some strong knowledge of the data warehousing. Yeah, Gayatri, do you have any question?
Hello, Vinay.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I got disconnected from the second pillar, that is from the third pillar, non-volatile. From that, I didn't understand what you had for the fourth pillar and the third pillar
Okay.
described.
Okay.
So I
So
have no idea about this non-volatile. I get little bit that you have told that not frequently changing data and frequently changing data. Then after I got disconnected.
okay. So in simple, I was telling, right, it all depends on your reporting requirements. Okay, I was taking different scenarios. One of my manager wants to refresh data every day. That scenario, you need to refresh your system every 24 hours. One of my manager wants in his report to refresh every 1 week, so that throughout the week you would be seeing the same data. One of my manager who is representing my company, and who is producing the quarterly results, and this guy wants to refresh every quarter. So if that is your case, you are making your data non-volatile, I mean static, right? So it's also called as non-volatile. Okay. So it all
Okay.
so your SAP BW belongs to the category of non-volatile. Not much frequently. We have some, depending upon your reporting requirement, you would be scheduling the stuff. But when it comes to SAP HANA, native HANA, we have something called as real-time reporting. So when I use a word called real-time reporting, means if something is changing in my transaction data systems, immediately it would be reflecting over here, immediately on the fly. Okay, so people
Okay.
who wants to see
Okay.
up to date data like what's happening now, then for example I did a
Mm-hmm.
transaction, bank transaction, I transferred some $10,000 to one of my friend's account. So what will happen?
Mm-hmm.
Immediately from my account, that minus 10,000 will be debited, right? Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
this kind of data is called as a real time data. So this
Okay.
kind of banking, airlines, they would be more focusing on what is called real time transactions.
Okay.
Sectors like manufacturing, something like that, what they are doing, they are using this data for kind of analysis and improve their business, right? Okay, so they would be
Mm-hmm.
expecting something called as non-volatile data, so that they have some static data and they can start analyzing the trend of it. Okay, so it all depends on your business requirements, like what system you need to use. That's the reason if you go to any organization, it's not that they would be using SAP HANA or SAP BW or ClickView or something like that. They would be using all of these systems, and depending on their requirements they would be using. Somebody wants a real-time reporting, they will point the report to SAP HANA system. Somebody wants a non-volatile or data that should be fixed for 1 week of time, they will do a reporting on top of SAP BW. They want some kind of lot of massaging, lot of changing to the data, then they will go with SAP BODS. They want a quick and easy to use interface for the reporting, they will go with either ClickView or Tableau. Okay, they want some new generation stuff, they will go with SAP Lumira. Like this, an organization majority of the cases would be having all of these tools, and depending upon the requirement they would be using them accordingly. Am I clear,
It's clear.
Gayatri? So I think
Yeah.
because you are an intern and just now passed out, right? So I mean, just want to clear, you don't have any past IT experience, right?
Yeah, I don't have any past experience. I work only for a 6 month in this SQL only.
Acha.
But
Okay.
then after I will, yeah,
Okay, okay, fine, got you. So fine. So these concepts look very I mean, strange to you. Okay, very new, right? The terminology I would be using and other stuff. So just try to understand. Okay, and as I told
yeah,
you, you need to put some extra efforts in your case because you are being a fresher to
yeah,
this
yeah,
IT world. So just try
yeah,
to focus on my terminology, and after the class also take some time, take a break, and whatever the new terminology I would be using, like OLTP, data warehousing, ETL,
yeah, no, no,
reporting,
no. Yeah,
at a
yeah.
later point of
This,
time again you need to go through and understand the deep of it. Okay,
yeah,
so
exactly.
that it would be
Yeah.
easy for, and it would be one time activity, it's not that you need to do on day-to-day basis. It's a one time activity, right? So tomorrow when you start working with any of the
Mm-hmm.
tool, it will make your life more
Mm-hmm.
comfortable, or at
Okay.
least especially when you go for interviews also, you can always talk in terms of technical details. Okay,
Okay.
yeah. So
Okay.
any other questions?
No, no, no,
No.
don't have any other
Okay,
question.
so
Okay.
fine. So according to Bill and Mon, this is a perfect definition. So tomorrow when you go for any interview, if they ask, "Hey, what is data warehousing solution?" then make sure that you provide this definition, not mug up. Okay, but ensure that you are providing the necessary details, also the background information about it. What is subject
Yeah.
oriented? What is integrated? Non-volatile or volatile, and a time variant collection of data in support of management. Now, if I go back to the same diagram which I was showing earlier, now if you see, so in the bottom I have something called as source systems, which I would be also terming as OLTP systems or transaction data systems or other systems. Okay. Now what is my whole intention? Connected to all of these systems and ensure that the data warehousing layer is filled up with the data. And see in the side of the data warehouse, 4 bulletin points, nothing but 4 pillars: subject oriented, integrated, constant or non-volatile or volatile, and time reference. So my data warehousing has been designed keeping in mind those 4 principles or pillars. Okay, and on top of it I can see the data is now distributed to the various reporting tools. In few cases it's a simple report, in few cases it's a graphics, in few cases tables, and different analysis methods. So if you are, so here, that middle layer data warehouse would be replaced by these different tools like SAP BW, SAP HANA, or ClickView, Tableau, whatever it may be. Okay, and on top of it the reporting tools, right? So there comes into picture the Bob J tools, business objects or reporting or any other stuff. So overall the basic things will remain one and the same. That's the reason I was taking the example of a car. If I am able to understand how to drive a Ford car, learning a and driving a Volkswagen car is not a big deal for me, because already I'm aware of the basics. Already I'm aware of what exactly, I mean, what would be the basic structure, what are the basic elements required for driving a car. Might be some variances compared to Ford that I can adjust and understand on the fly, not a big deal. Okay, so people who are learning any technology related to data warehousing solution, tomorrow if they got to work with any other stuff, um, not that tough to understand, not that tough to understand and make it over. That is what simply I want to convey the message. Okay, fine. Now if I want to go with some basic definition, exactly what's the data warehousing. Okay, so now you can go with this basic English definitions. Go with the first one. A data warehouse is a central repository for all or significant parts of the data that an enterprise's various business systems collect. In my organization is also called as an enterprise, right? Enterprise, various business systems. Okay, in an enterprise, I would be having multiple heterogeneous departments, and each and every department would be using some or other system to store their data. And what am I doing? I am connecting all these systems to a very common environment called data warehousing, right? That is the reason a data warehouse is also called as a central repository for all of your information related to the organization, central repository. Okay, so tomorrow any manager wants or have some any kind of reporting requirements, simply this guy will come and contact the what is called central repository system owners. Hey, I want this report, because he has his all data, right? So on top of it, we'll create a report for him according to his requirements and just give it to him. That's it. Okay, now if I go with the second definition, a data warehouse is a copy of transaction data specifically structured for querying and reporting. That's it. So, am I doing any magic with my data in the data warehousing? No. I am just going to simply connect to my different source systems, read the data, and write into my data warehousing solution. What is the advantage of this writing? This data warehousing solution is optimized for reporting, right? So that's the whole intention. So if you see, a data warehouse is a copy of transaction data specifically structured for querying and reporting. So with the help of ETL concepts, what I am doing, I am connecting, reading and writing, and where required, then only I am transforming my data, changing my data. Otherwise, no. It would be just copy paste. Control C, Control V. That's it. Okay, but and where you are control V, where you are pasting in data warehousing environment, right? What is the data warehousing environment? It is optimized for querying and reporting, and because of that your reporting should be very good. And that is the area where we have a good number of options for reporting also, right? You can showcase the same data in terms of graphics, charts or any other stuff. So now the same data is represented in multiple facets. Okay, now third definition, a collection of data designed to support management decision making. That's it. Management wants to analyze their data and take some decisions, right? Now what are we doing? We are collecting all the necessary information and designing and projecting them in the form of a report to them according to their own requirements. One of my manager asked me, "Hey Vinay, I want to show my data in terms of what is called every time I give a year as an input, it should show me year minus 5 data." Okay, for example, I'm giving 2018, then it should show me 2018, 2017, 2016, 15, 14, last 5 years of data. That is what my requirement. So I would be designing it as per his requirements. One of my other manager asks us to give a date range, or if they want to focus on a particular company code or a particular area of the organization. So whatever the input they would be giving, accordingly the output would be minimized or regulated. So it all depends on your requirements basically. So in simple, a data warehouse is a central repository, which in most of the cases nothing but a copy of transaction data, but put in a very optimized environment for reporting. So that's all about the data warehousing stuff. So any questions, guys? So we need to have that knowledge of the four principles, the basic definitions of the data warehouse, and the basic architecture diagram which I was showing you. That's it. And what is an ETL tool? What is a reporting tool? You need to have some knowledge about this stuff. Okay. So any questions? If no, we'll go to the next simple topic called as OLTP and OLAP systems. And these were the few terminologies that I was referring just now. OLTP systems or source systems or transactional data systems. So we are just going to understand a depth fashion about these systems, because these are the systems that we are going to work on day-to-day basis in our project requirements. These are the systems the majority of the organizations would be using to store their data, right? So having a knowledge about this is mandatory.
Mhm.
Okay, fine. Now go back to my notepad. So now first let's focus on OLTP systems. Okay, OLTP stands for Online Transaction Processing Systems. Transaction processing systems. So these are the systems primarily used by the organizations to store their day-to-day transaction data. Anything, airlines, banking, retail sector, employment sectors, any organization has some system to store their data, right? So those kind of systems are called as OLTP systems. And depending upon the complexity of data, depending upon the type of data, they might be using varied available solutions available in the market. Okay. Now out of them, majority of the manufacturing solutions would be using something called as ERP systems. ERP stands for Enterprise Resource Planning. Enterprise means an organization. Resource means anything is a resource. Pen is a resource. Paper is a resource. A machine is a resource. Employee is a resource. A mouse is a resource. A laptop is a resource. So within that organization, each and every pin and part is called as a resource. And P stands for planning over here. So enterprise resource planning. So within an organization, how you are optimally planning your resources and making the full utilization of them is nothing but called as ERP systems. Okay, so majority of the manufacturing companies would be going ahead with these ERP solutions. The advantage of these ERP systems is they can store all of your organization data in a single system. When I talk about an organization, there are multiple departments, right? Finance department, sales department, HR department, security, warehouse. Okay, lots of things are there, especially in manufacturing company, which means what they will do. For example, take Volkswagen. What they will do? They need to manufacture a car, right? In order to manufacture a car, what first they need to do? They need to have a design or engineering plan, blueprint of what exactly they want to design. So some set of engineering R&D team, so their duty is to just to give the diagrams of plan the car parts accordingly and other stuff. So one separate department. Later, once the design is approved and tested with one module, and once we get the necessary permissions, once we get the necessary budget, then we will prepare the plant machinery to modify it accordingly. Okay, now when I talk about a car, it is nothing but assemble of multiple parts, right? Glasses, leather, steering, engine, that what is called Bluetooth or some Wi-Fi, a petrol area, cabin area, lots of things. It's an assemble of some around 20 to 30 different parts, right? Do Volkswagen manufacture all these parts? For example, take leather, take glasses, take mirrors. Do Volkswagen manufacture glasses also? No, right? They need this from other manufacturers. Okay, for example, tires. Do you have Volkswagen tires? No. They would be going with either Bridgestone or Apollo or whatever that's available in the market, Seat, whatever it may be. So what they will do, first of all, basing on their design, they need to order the other manufacturers. Boss, I want some around 200 tires of this quality, this length, this dimensions. Now when they get the product, they would be putting in the assembly, and like that, similar like mirrors, leather, everything, the steel. In the Volkswagen plant, what they would be doing, they would be assembling all of this into together and manufacturing their car, right? So which means it has also dependence on lots of other people. So in that, these guys are called as vendors to. So Apollo Tires is a vendor to Volkswagen. Saint Gobain Glasses is a vendor to Volkswagen. Like this, all the things would be in sync with one another and do the stuff, right? So here, what I simply wants to convey is, when you want to purchase all of these stuff, you need to have a finance team to allocate your budget. And once you manufacture your product, you need to have a sales team who can advertise your product and sell the product to different customers. And if the product is ready, there should be a warehouse department who would be maintaining or storing your objects, storing your cars in a warehouse environment. Go down. Okay. Later we need to have some shipping department. Later we need to have some delivery departments, and later we need to have some department to collect all of your pending stuff. Like this, when I'm using a term called Volkswagen company, it's nothing but a combination of all of these departments. They would be working with each other and delivering your, from the starting of the manufacturing of your plant, of your product, to selling and getting the money. So it requires a communication channel between all of these different departments, right? And that ERP systems available in the market will make your work more comfortable, because they would be storing all of your organization data or your department data in a single system, right? So communication wise, it would be very easy. So if for example, I have an area, in that area, if I have all the stuff whatever I required, then why my work would be very easy, right? If that is not the case, if the car, if some parts are available in some North America, some parts available in East America, something like that, then definitely the communication will be missing. Or if not missing also, it may take lots of time. But in the case of your ERP, since all of your organization data is available in a single system, that makes the organization work in a very smooth and clear fashion. No more miscommunication, no more lagging of the time, no more latency in taking the decisions. Okay, so majority of the companies will go with the ERPs, and one among the solution is SAP ERP. SAP ERP. Okay, and tomorrow when you work with SAP BW also, SAP ERP would be your primary source system. When I use a word called OLTP, so nothing but all of our source systems. Okay, so SAP ERP would be your majorly used source system. Along with that, we have lots of stuff like Microsoft Dynamics. Microsoft Dynamics. Then followed by any other ERPs like Oracle apps. Okay. What else? PeopleSoft. Something like this, etc. Okay. Similarly, the organizations would be using database also, DBs, to store their data. Okay. So Oracle, DB2, Sybase, Teradata, followed by what else? SQL Server, SAP HANA. So any of these databases. Or if it's a small organization, they might be storing in simple files also, like Excel sheet, Notepad. So these also can be primarily used for your storing data purpose. Okay, so like this, any of these OLTP systems, majority of the companies would be using to store their day-to-day transaction data. Okay, now the big question arises, when I have these systems with so much configuration, so much capabilities, can't I do the reporting directly on top of these systems? Ultimately, even the SAP ERP systems, in the backend there's a database. Even these are databases. These are already databases, right? So we know what to do. Okay. Now, when organizations would be using any of these systems, can't we do the directly reporting on top of these systems? Do I really need a data warehousing environment in our organization? My answer would be no. You don't require data warehousing solution. We can do the reporting directly on top of these OLTP systems. Why? Because when I use a word called database, whenever database is there, a language called SQL will come into picture, structured query language, which is used to interact with the database for creating tables, for creating data, for deleting data, whatever it may be. With whenever you want to do any activity with your database, you can do it with SQL. Okay, so we can happily perform. For example, I have a table called the employee. Okay, in my employee ID, employee first name, employee last name, okay, um, employee gross salary, okay, or for example employee net salary, for example net salary, I'm planning to make it. Okay, now I have some sample data. For example, 1001, first name is Vinay, last name is Kumar, and my net salary is some 50,000, for example. Okay, now I got a reporting requirement, so that my manager wants to see, hey, the net salary is nothing but I want to have some gross salary column. Okay, and
Yes,
this
sir.
is nothing but employee net salary multiplied by 2, for example, or plus 500, for example. Simple. Now this one is not available in their system. Now they want this extra column also. So at the report level, for example. So can't I achieve this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I can happily achieve this. How come? I can write with the help of SQL, I can write a select statement simply. So what I can do? Select, okay. For example, in this case, they want employee ID, comma, employee net salary, and another column called this one, same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
as I'll just give an alias name, something like employee net sal, and this I would be putting in the brackets over here, something like sum of, okay, or otherwise I will go with the bracket over here as employee salary from employee table. Okay, now when I execute this statement, what would be my output? Employee ID 1001, employee what is called sorry, this is gross salary, for example. Okay, now employee net salary is some 50,000 and plus 500, right? So 50,500 would be my output. Assume second scenario, 1,000 to 10,000 is a salary and plus 500, right? So 10,500, something like this. Or if this is one scenario, or I have some data in two tables. There's some other table called as department table. Okay, in that department ID, department name, okay, something like this. So every employee of an organization should and must work with any of the department, right? For example, I am an IT developer, so my department would be some analytics or software side. One of my friend works in HR, so as HR, so she belongs to HR department. One of my friend works in security, so he belongs to security, something like that. But every employee of an organization should and must belong to one department, right? So I will just, for example, department ID is some SAP, sorry, IT. Within IT, the department name is some SAP, okay, and employee ID is some 1001. So all of my employee information is available in the employee table, all of my department information is available in the department table. Okay, now I want to Analyze like what is called employee wise department details. But do you have department over here? No, right? So how do I communicate between these two tables? So usually there is a concept called primary key. What is a primary key? Anybody? Primary key. Yeah, you're telling some answer, Gayatri. Anybody? What is the primary key?
Yeah. Primary key is a unit identify key.
Yeah, unique key, right? Which is used to uniquely identify your record or raw data. So in our case, this employee ID is nothing but a primary key, because in our organization also every employee is a unique identifier, right? Unique key. So in my terminology, this employee ID is a primary key and all other are normal columns. Similarly, in department table, department ID is the primary key. Okay, and all other columns are giving some more other information about the department ID. Now, what is a what is called composite key? Gayatri, you have worked with SQL for 6 months, right?
Yeah,
What is composite key?
composite case.
Sorry?
For example, to communicate between these two tables is employee ID 1001. In
Uh-huh.
composite key, capturing the data for this Vinay Kumar.
Uh-huh.
So
You're telling the
what
definition of
the
foreign key, not composite key. So in this case, the employee is available over here, right? Using which you can
yeah,
communicate, establish a connection between these two tables. Then I can term this employee as a primary key. Sorry, a foreign key. Foreign key. Okay. Composite key means within a table, if I exactly one column to uniquely identify my data, I will call it as a for primary key. If I have more than one key within a one table to identify my data, then that set of keys is called as composite keys. Am I clear or confusing?
Confusing.
Okay. For example, in this case, clearly employed is a primary key, right? But tomorrow, for example, my company is based in India and we have a branch in US also, for example. Okay. Now in US also they are following the same criteria 1001, 1002. Okay, assume I'm just taking a simple scenario. Okay. So tomorrow when you want to uniquely identify your employee, when you put 1001, it was giving you two employee details. One from India account, one from US account. And how come you differentiate between these two? Again, it would be great if you have one more key, right? For example, employee ID, employee mail ID. Mail ID would be definitely unique, right? So here I can see Vinay at the rate abc.com. Okay. Let me go with my surname, for example, Vinay P. So for that guy, they might be sharing the same ID, but for them the employee ID, mail ID would be different, right? For sure, not the same mail ID. So in this case, okay, Charlie P, for example, Charlie Y, for example, at the rate abc.com. So, just for our industry, simple understanding, these two guys are sharing the same employee ID, but they have their own email IDs, right? Which you can further uniquely identify them. So, now in my scenario, how can I perfectly uniquely identify them? With the combination of employee ID and email ID, with these two key fields combination, I can confirm, right? Like this guy is from India and this guy is from US. Charlie is from US, for example. So, which means in simple, whenever I am able to uniquely identify a record with a combination of more than one key, if exactly one key, primary key. If more than one key comes into picture, then we call it as a composite key. Now clear?
okay.
Okay. Now similarly, if I am using the same key in another table for understanding purpose, then here employee ID is called as a primary key, but the same employee ID in another table is called as a foreign key. So using this primary key foreign key relationship, I can write a select statement, read the data and show in a single report. Now what is this guy's requirement? He wants to understand to which department each and every employee belongs to, right? So what I will do, select employee ID, comma department ID, okay, comma department name, for example, and here I will go to the employee name also, for example, okay. From the table names I will write over here, comma department, and I will give some alias names to my table as A, as E. Instead of writing these lengthy strings, I can just use this alias names going forward. And this employee ID is available in two tables, right? Employee as well as department. So you need to clearly specify from which table you are reading. I want it from employee, so I'll just you need to put call E dot. Whenever I'm working with the multiple tables, I need to give my column names with respect to table names so that the data would be fetching from them. When I use a word called E dot employee ID means this employee ID I am planning to get the data from employee table. Similarly, E dot for employee name also, and D dot for department ID, and D dot for department name. This way I can write my code. And later I need to establish a connection, right? So in the where condition, I need to write E dot employee ID is equal to D dot employee ID. Okay. So when I go with this execution, what the system will do? It will go to these two tables with this key combination. What is the common data? It is going to represent these four as my output. So 1001 is equal to 1001. This condition has been met from these two tables. Now when this met, employee ID, right? So it will give me output at 1001 Vinay IT SAP. So this would be my output. So am I clear with this SQL statement? Any questions? Okay. So in simple, what I want to convey is here these tables are available in my OLTP system now. Okay, in my OLTP systems. And with the help of this SQL, I was able to connect to these different tables, read the data, and show the output in the form of a report. Which means in simple, I can do my reporting directly on top of the same system where I'm storing my data. That is nothing but my OLTP systems. When you are able to do the reporting, why the data warehousing solutions then? Okay, so that we will continue in tomorrow's class. So I can do my reporting directly on top of an SAP ERP system, MS Dynamics, whatever it may be. When you talk about SAP ERP, there is a programming language called SAP ABAP, using which you can interact with the database tables and get the data. And in today also, few of the reports are still based on the ABAP programming only. But when you do all of when you are able to do all of this stuff, why again this our SAP HANA or BW? Okay, so there are some lots of drawbacks or issues or concerns when we do the reporting directly on top of the same systems where we are storing our data. In order to overcome that, we would be going ahead with the concept called the data warehousing solution. So what are those issues, what are the concerns, we will discuss in tomorrow's class. Okay, so we will stop it for today. If you have any questions, you can ask me.
Yeah, Vinay, I had one question. Can you mail me today's slot so that I can revise it properly?
Okay, fine. I'll save it. I will save it and send it to you. Yeah, sure.
Today's slot.
Yeah, sure. Okay, done. I'll send it. Okay. Yeah, any other questions?
Are you going to send the record? Okay, huh? To
Yes,
us?
yes.
Okay.
Same like SAP HANA. Here also, I'll upload the recording and send it to you.
Mm-hmm.
You have the HANA recordings, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Sure. Okay. So just to revise what we covered: definition of data warehouse, the architecture of data warehouse, the four pillars of data warehouse, the basic definitions of data warehouse, within data warehouse ETL tools and reporting tools, and OLTP and OLAP systems. And we have gone through the concept of OLTP systems. Tomorrow we are going to understand the differences and the OLAP systems, and there is something called a star schema, extended star schema, which are the basic architecture for any data warehousing solution. With that, after that, I am going to discuss like what would be your common role in your day-to-day what would be your day-to-day different types of SAP BW projects you might be working with when you get a job tomorrow. Okay, then the people, the team, the different terminology used over there. That's it for tomorrow's. And from day after tomorrow, we are going to take an examples and uh, log into the system and to start our practicals. Okay, so till the next 2 days it would be like a bit easy only, but when we start the practicals, I definitely expect you guys by the time to have the system access for practice, and you would be doing the practice on the same day when the class has been completed, because anyway it's your morning time, right? So take your time and do the practice, so that if you have any questions, you can email me and I'll get back to you. If not, you can get back to me in next class also. But practicing parallel is highly recommended for both of you guys, because both of you are looking for some career change. Okay, and along with that, I would be sharing you some good amount of material. So once the topic is complete, I ask you to guys to go through that material. So definitely covering the theoretical concepts as well as the practical is a mandatory on a day-to-day basis. Assume that you are preparing for some kind of exams, okay, which is due in next month, and you started your preparation and go with the same slot. After 1 month of time, or once we complete the course, you should be you should feel confident, like, yes man, I was able to understand the concepts, I have the conceptual knowledge, I have the theoretical knowledge, I have the practical knowledge. So with all of these three knowledges, when you go for interview, you'll be more confident. Okay, so that is what they expected from you guys. And anytime you feel of not attending the classes due to some other writing schedule, or illness, or out of station, or whatever it may be, just communicate me beforehand, so that we can either cancel the class or at least give you the recording with you. Okay, it depends basically. And the same is applicable for me also. If there is no class on a particular day, I will definitely intimate you beforehand, so that none of the other people time should be wasted, right? Yeah, that is the whole intention. Okay, so just follow these protocols for the next 3 or 4 weeks and learn SAP BW on HANA. So that's all from my end, guys. So if you have anything to discuss, you can discuss. Otherwise, we can log off for the day.
Okay.
Chalo then. See you tomorrow at the same time. Use the same link. If there is any change in the link, we will communicate with you guys. Okay? Chalo. Right. Bye.